Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Nicole and Azan. Let's watch the show and see if anything of interest comes out of my face.
Today is Azan's interview for the K-1 visa, and I'm so excited. I wanted me and May to stay at my mom's house because I didn't want to oversleep.
Okay, so for those of you who have watched the previous reaction videos to Nicole, you know that my hypothesis, total speculation, and I'd have to ask the family if they found this to be true or not, but my hypothesis that I would work with if I were to treat this family, which again, I'm not treating the family, but if I was, I would have this hypothesis that Nicole thinks of herself as irresponsible and thus acts irresponsibly. The family treats her as if she's irresponsible and thus she acts irresponsibly. And we just heard her say that she had to get up at 6:30 and she didn't trust herself to get up, so she slept at her parents' house. She slept at her mom's house because she didn't trust herself to get up at 6:30 in time. That's interesting. I think that is more data that points in that direction. Okay, let's keep watching.
He's going to be going soon, and I'm nervous.
How's he doing?
Like, he's ready to move. He's ready to get to see what it's like here and to also see my culture and what I grow up with.
That's going to be interesting.
It's going to be so much fun.
I don't know that she does understand just how important this moment in her life is. This is going to shape her future. Everything from this point on is going to be completely different.
All right, so there's more of that dynamic that I talked about in previous videos, where the mom essentially assumes that Nicole is stupid, ignorant, unaware, immature, has no idea what's going on. Now, I know for some of you in the comments I read sometimes that you believe that. You actually are on the mother's side and you think that Nicole is irresponsible and somewhat of a loathsome individual. You're free to have that point of view. But as a family therapist, what I'm looking for often is everyone getting their needs met? And do they have the flexibility to do that? And so what I'm hoping for both Nicole and the mom is that they are able to break free of this dynamic that I imagine has been going on for years and years and years, in which Nicole plays the role of someone who doesn't know what she's doing, and the mother plays the role of someone who barks at daughter and assumes that she's stupid and treats her that way. And Nicole acts as if she's unaware and ignorant and unwise. So both happen at the same time. And it's easy to get on one side or the other depending on your own traumas and your own past. If you grew up with a very stern mother, then you might side with Nicole. If you grew up with a very irresponsible child or an irresponsible sibling or an irresponsible family member, then you might side with the mom. Family therapists, we all have our pasts too. And a big part of our training and supervision and growth and our own therapy is to break free of those traumas, heal from those traumas, so that when we approach a clinical situation like this, we can take both sides and both join with the family and pull away and evaluate it as objectively as possible, but also get involved. I'm not involved with them because I'm not treating them, but if I was, I'd get involved. I would add my role to the family system. And so being able to vacillate between those two positions is being differentiated, right? To meld with people and also distance yourself when you need to. Because when you distance yourself, you can see things a little bit more objectively. Anyway, so we see two examples right away that Nicole can't get up. She doesn't even think of herself as someone who can get up in the morning without being at her mom's house. So she, at the age of 24, still needs her mom to wake her up in the morning, which is mind-boggling when you have alarm clocks and all sorts of things. Plus, she's a mom. She has a kid. Presumably, there are appointments she has to go to. So that's notable. Now, maybe she has a particular hard time waking up in the morning because of a medical condition or who knows. There's maybe more details there. But then we also hear the mom, and we'll rewind that and listen back to that again. She clearly does not believe in Nicole's ability to think for herself and to be a wise individual. And maybe that's true, but the point of therapy and helping people, and I've treated families like this before, is just because a child is acting irresponsible doesn't mean you want to treat them like they're being irresponsible. How do we help someone to be responsible? Well, a big part of that is to treat them as if they can do it. If you always treat them like they can't do it, then they tend to act the role. And I've seen people in Nicole's position hold on to this role because the family system treats them that way and the family system needs them to be that role until they're 55 years old. They're still acting that way. They still don't know how to wake up in the morning without someone else waking them up. They still appear as though they have no idea what they're doing and they don't think about things before they do things.
I don't know that she does understand just how important this moment in her life is. This is going to shape her future. Everything from this point on is going to be completely different. What do you want to do if he does get accepted? I mean, what's the plan?
Well, hopefully when he gets accepted and he gets his visa, probably 2 weeks after that, he'll come.
What if he comes all the way here? You put all this effort and all this work into getting him here, getting married. How are you going to feel if he leaves, Nicole?
That would be devastating.
So if I were there talking to the mom, I would say, okay, hold on. What are you feeling right now? What are your emotions right now? I'm guessing that underneath the mom's statement there was an emotion of concern and worry and anxiety. Anxiety that her daughter is going to get hurt and that her granddaughter is going to get hurt. Anxiety that this interloper into their family is going to hurt them, is going to hurt all of them, maybe even come between Nicole and her family. Who knows? And she has anxiety. And it's totally okay, as I've always said, that the mom is concerned and that she has emotions. She should have emotions. She's the mother and the grandmother. If she didn't have emotions about the situation, that would be a problem. So it's good that she has feelings. But what do we do with those feelings? Do we transform those feelings into criticism and messages of putting her down? Or do we just express it? And I would throw that out to the grandma here and I would say, hey, how about you say something along these lines? You know, tell me how it would feel if you said this. Nicole, tell me how it would feel if your mom said this. Something like, Nicole, I love you. You're a grown woman now. You can make your own choices. And I believe in you and I trust you. And I'm terrified of what this guy is going to do. I don't know him. Maybe he's a great guy. But I'm so worried about what's going to happen. There's so many unknowns. Will he like to be in the United States? Will the two of you work out? You guys told me that you fight a lot, and that's not a good sign. But I don't know. Maybe you guys are going to work out. And you know much better than I do about whether or not this is a good relationship because you're in the relationship. I've only just heard things from you, so I don't know. So those are my feelings. And I just want you to know that that's how I feel because I love you and I love my granddaughter and I'm just worried and I don't know what to do. Is there anything I can do to help? Is there any advice I can give you to help you with this situation? Do you ever want to talk about, what to do in this situation? I'm here. We can talk it out and I'll try to remain unbiased. I'll try to be a good listener. I might ask the mom, how would that feel? There's a lot of different responses I might get from the mom, but usually what I'll get from the Nicoles of the world would be like, mind blown. Oh my God, if my mom said that, that would make me feel so much better. And I would actually go to my mom more often for advice because of the way you just said that you respect me and you're actually willing to listen. You're saying that you have feelings, which I get, but you're also trying to be there in my corner and not against me in my life. You're actually willing to believe in me. And when you believe in kids, they tend to grow up. All parents understand this. There's always that moment where your 5-year-old is walking in to kindergarten. Part of you just wants to grab your kid and say, no, you're not going into the den of the wolves. I'm going to take you home and protect you. This is the beginning of all sorts of troubles and bully situations and self-esteem issues when you don't get an A on your assignment, maybe not in kindergarten, but first grade, second. Let me protect you from that. But then there's that moment where it's like, well, I believe in you, child. I believe you can handle it. I believe you can do it. You're strong. You'll develop the skills. You'll come to me when you struggle, but then I'll send you back into the world. And I believe in you. And I will act in a way that really conveys that I believe in you. And then the child is like looking at the parent going, okay, I'm going to kindergarten. Is this okay? Because this seems kind of scary to me. But mommy and daddy's face, they look like they believe in me. They look like they believe I can do this. Huh. well, maybe I can do this. And then you walk in and you do it. So at the age of 24, it's the same situation. The family would benefit, Nicole would benefit, the mom would benefit if the mom looked at Nicole and said, I believe in you. You can do this. I'm here if you want to talk. And you'll learn, because I can't always be there to fix your problems, but I believe in you. I know you can do this. Even though a part of the mom would believe, I don't know if my kid can do this. No parent of a kindergartner on the first day of school is like 100% sure that this is going to work out. Every parent is like, I don't know if this is going to work. But you put that aside because you know that you got to believe, and you got to let them make their own mistakes and learn. And you have to trust that they're going to learn from their own mistakes. And if you don't trust that, and you give a message to the kid that you don't believe in them and you don't believe they're going to learn from their own mistakes, the kid starts to believe that too. And I think Nicole has that. And I think she's at a stage now where she's trying to move away from that. And part of it might be that she's moving away in a very differentiated, mature way, in that she is just finding love, and it's independent of the relationship, the enmeshment with the mom. Or, more problematically, Nicole is involved with Azan because she just wants to oppose the mom, which happens sometimes. In an effort to gain your own independence, sometimes kids at the age of 4 and beyond will just do whatever their parents don't want them to do as a way of asserting their own independence and asserting their own identity. So I would tell all this to the mom. And by the way, I've been saying Azan for the whole time, and then I started hearing them say Azan, and I was mortified that I had been saying the name wrong the whole time. But then someone emailed me from that part of the world and said, it's actually pronounced Azan. And then I said, well, why is everyone on the show calling him Azan? And the person emailed me and said, because they're Americans and they don't know how to adjust their vowels or something. I don't know if that's right, but I'm going to use Azan unless I hear otherwise.
But I don't think about that.
I think sometimes you're pretty oblivious. I am worried that maybe his motives are not as pure as she thinks they are.
Okay, so we heard those two different statements. I think you're oblivious, and I'm worried about his intentions. Okay. The second one, fine. I'm worried about his intentions. I think you're oblivious. That is a really hurtful statement to say to anybody. I'm worried that you're going to make the wrong choice, and I think you're oblivious. Those are two completely different messages and received completely differently. I'm worried about what's going to happen, and I think you're oblivious. Out.
Gonna do if he doesn't?
Of course not. Because he's going to get his K-1 visa.
I'm glad you're positive, but you're not in control of everything. So when's he gonna call?
I don't know. He can't take his phone, and I don't know how long the interview is. I think at least a few hours.
Has he texted you yet? What happens if he pulls the same thing he pulled last time and he just doesn't call?
He'll call.
So at the very least, I would talk with the mom and say, do you want to be a part of this situation? Do you want to be influential on your daughter's life? The mother would say, yeah, absolutely, I want to be involved. Well, your approach and the way you communicate to your daughter, Nicole, is very off-putting, I'm guessing, to Nicole. It assumes negativity. You're looking for any reason to oppose her goal in life, to marry this guy. And eventually what's going to happen is Nicole's just going to shut you out. So I don't know if that's the best strategy. Again, if you have emotions, feel them, express them, even ask Nicole to help you out with those emotions. It's good you're having the emotions, but to jump to put downs and negativity, I don't know if that's going to work out or not. It certainly hasn't worked out thus far. I mean, the mom's goal, I think, is to break them up, and it hasn't worked yet. Option 2 is, well, let's be involved in a way that Nicole and Azan can live with, and that requires not being so negative and so against the situation.
Me already.
Well, I understand, honey. I'd like to know, too. I feel like we're sitting on pins and needles waiting to find out. So what time is it there?
7:30.
Well, his appointment definitely would not have gone this late.
I don't know where he's at.
He'd gotten accepted Don't you think he would have called to share the good news?
Yes, I don't know what he's doing.
All right, so we're getting that dynamic again that we've seen in previous seasons, actually. This is Happily Ever After, by the way, where Nicole starts to act very much like a child. Yes, na, na, na. Again, I'm not mocking. I'm just emulating a voice that Nicole just did, which is that of a child, not that of a 24-year-old. And when you do that, it sucks in, particularly the mom, because she's very used to this role of becoming the mom instead of a fellow family member, if you will. You know, two adults trying to figure out a situation instead of what's happening, which is Nicole is, regressing to a younger place, and that pushes the mom. It compels the mom to become over-functioning for Nicole. Now, the mom could resist that if she remains differentiated in that space, but let's watch what happens.
I don't know where he's at.
He'd gotten accepted. Don't you think he would have called to share the good news?
Yes, I don't know what he's doing.
I just was so hoping that this part would be over. By the time I got off work, that it would be done. We'd have it all figured out. He was either coming or he wasn't coming, and now we are in limbo.
Okay, so you hear that we are in limbo. So the mom is saying we are in limbo, not my daughter is in limbo. Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling like this is a family situation, but it is notable in terms of the language.
For me, I just can't put a price on being with someone I want to marry forever.
This just does not make sense. And
Mom!
If it doesn't make sense, you have to ask some of the hard questions.
I don't question, okay? Because he's not lying.
You don't know that.
I do know that. You don't know that.
You don't know that.
You can think what you want.
I hope he's not scamming her. When he shows up on American soil, I'll feel 100% better.
Okay, as usual, when the people are being interviewed one-on-one for the camera, they're so much more differentiated and they own their feelings in a much more healthy way. The grandma is saying, I'm worried about things. Great, communicate that. When she's with Nicole, she's not communicating her feelings. What she's doing is she's attacking and putting her down. Let's rewatch that.
You don't know that.
I do know that. You don't know that.
You don't know that.
You can think what you want.
I hope he's not scamming her. When he shows up on American soil, I'll feel 100% better. Because until then, my little radar is still up. You don't see
What?
things that you sometimes need to see. There are people at...
So you hear that right there. When she's away from Nicole, she's like, I'm worried. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not going to stop being worried until he's here on American soil. Then I'll feel better. Totally okay. It makes total sense that she would worry about that. And then with Nicole, she is putting her down. You don't see things. You are oblivious. Essentially, Nicole, you are stupid. And you don't know anything, and you are incompetent. You don't know anything about anything. Those are my words, but those are the messages that I think are coming across. It's not going to help. If I were there, I'd say, okay, wait, Mom, what are you feeling right now? Well, I'm worried about what's happening. Okay, good. Just communicate that. Let's stick with that. There's no debate there that you're worried, and it's justified that you're worried. It's okay. Let's just stay there. Let's be together. You're on the same team. You both want the same thing. You both want Nicole to have a good life. You both want the granddaughter to have. You both want May to have a good life. So let's be on the same team here. Let's not work against each other.
And from other countries that sit there and tell you, oh, I love you, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
God.
And then they tell you, oh, well, if, I really want to come visit, but I need you to buy my plane ticket of $1,500. Just send me the money and I'll buy the plane ticket. It's a scam, honey.
I get irritated when my mom keeps questioning Azan's intentions. Today was hard enough. I'm just ready to hear that Azan's visa was approved so he can finally be here and show everyone he's not scamming me. I seriously am tired of you questioning everything that he does. My head is going to explode.
So you see the way the mom looks at her. She's not really listening. Nicole is expressing anger. If I were there, I would slow Nicole down a little bit, but you see the way the mom, now they edit it, so who knows, but the way mom is reacting is just like, okay, honey, yeah, whatever. You know, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of listening and actually hearing her daughter, Nicole, as she expresses herself. But if I were to work with Nicole, I'd be like, okay, you're frustrated, let's slow down. How are you feeling? And this is really my bread and butter as a family therapist, is help people slow down, get down to those core emotions, those primary emotions, explore them, and then express them without transforming them into other emotions. And also to reduce flooding, because when you're flooded with emotion, which I think both of them are in this moment, it's hard to think straight. So with Nicole, I might get to a place of like, okay, what are you feeling? Well, I'm hurt that my mom puts me down and she makes me feel like I'm incompetent. She makes me feel this small, the way she talks to me. It's awful. Okay, mom, is that your intention? Are you trying to make your daughter feel this small? Because your daughter's 24 years old. The mom would probably say something like, no, I don't want my daughter to feel small. I'm just really scared. Okay, great, you're scared. Let's just stick with that and own that and be in that space and not transform that into put downs. And then, Nicole, how are you feeling? Well, I'm scared too, because what we want Nicole to be in is a ambivalent space. We want her to be in a space where she's like, I'm pretty sure things are going to work out, and I hope things are going to work out, but I don't know if things are going to work out. And by treating Nicole like she's stupid, then she regresses and starts to act like a teenager. And when teenagers act like teenagers, they dig in and they think black and white, and they don't want to be ambivalent about something. And so you can take a situation where Nicole might be like, well, there's evidence going either way. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. And then you pressure her and make her feel small and make her feel incompetent and be totally against Azan. And then Nicole has to defend herself, and now she's 110% sure that it's going to work out. That's not what the mom wants, right? The mom wants Nicole to have a realistic viewpoint of the situation. But by putting her down and being against the situation, it creates this dynamic where now Nicole is not even going to listen to voices in her own mind of ambivalence.
I just can't handle the news that I got. So I wanted my mom to come over. So I got an email this morning. It was from the embassy. It's about Azan's visa.
Well, is he coming or isn't he coming?
He got denied.
Really? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So this is great. The mom is being empathetic and caring and compassionate. This is great. It makes me wonder if the TV show doesn't highlight the good moments. And we see that for Nicole, when she was having the bad news, she immediately wanted to talk with her mom about this. Well, what this tells me is that the mom is good to Nicole overall, because Nicole could have been like, I don't want to tell my mom about this. She's not a good person to turn to. So I want to highlight the very good parts of this relationship, that the mom cares about Nicole, she has compassion, she worries about Nicole. Those are all wonderful, wonderful things. I just want to be clear on that level. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle, in which we watch Nicole and Azan and I react to it. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.